Welcome to the Solid Verbal. The Solid Verbal.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40!
I've heard so many players say, well, I want to be happy. You want to be happy for a day? Eat a steak.
It's that woo-woo!
And now, Dan and Ty.
Welcome back to the Solid Verbal, boys and girls. My name is Ty Hildebrand. His name is Dan Rubenstein. SolidVerbal@gmail.com, as always, is our email address. You can also find us and subscribe and rate and review if you're going out to itunes.com/solidverbal. We've also got a website at solidverbal.com and sbnation.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/solidverbal and Twitter and Instagram. And I just posted a picture on Snapchat, Dan Rubenstein. And whew, I took a power nap before hitting the record button here this evening. So I'm a bit shot out of a cannon. I'm caffeinated. I am ready for week 4.
Are you?
I'm fired up.
I'm not.
No?
I'm done with college football forever. Devin Allen's out for the season. Tyrell Crosby, starting Oregon left tackle, is probably out for the season. I'm done, Ty. I'm absolutely done. I'm just ready to focus on the true champions of the sport. Now I don't have to worry about fandom. We're just talking about the Washington Huskies, true champions.
Do you think it's better to have your team eliminated after 3 weeks of the college football season, or to go 15 weeks hanging on every single solitary play only to lose it miserably in week 15?
Okay, so only one of our teams, if you're talking about the playoff, like Oregon's going to be anywhere near the playoff, has been eliminated after 3 weeks. I think it's probably better to have your expectations lowered early, because then they can be exceeded later. So
okay,
this is to say that even though Oregon looks like a not contending for the Pac-12 team at the moment, that isn't to say they're not talented enough to come up and ruin somebody else this season.
Right.
So
okay,
that would also be fun for me. I am just not used to rooting for and playing the role of a spoiler. So
yeah,
Notre Dame is in a different spot because they're traditional rivals at this point. They don't have Michigan this season, correct?
Nope.
And they have USC, but it's not like that game is going to mean all that much on a national level.
They have Stanford. That could be interesting.
They do have Stanford. Whereas Oregon plays the same schedule pretty much every year, and it's fun that Oregon has Washington and Stanford and USC and an Arizona school. That's at least fun for me to see what happens with those more traditional. Right. You know, Oregon's a much more traditional power.
To
see what happens there.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, expectation management is an important thing if you're rooting for any sports team, let alone college football. Mm-hmm. I think I prefer it when your team goes pretty deep in the season, though, with a fighting chance. It just gets a little more emotional. You know, you lose early, it kind of takes the shine off the season. But if you're in it for an extended period of time, you're kind of in this heightened state of awareness throughout the college football season, and that makes everything a little bit more emotional and a little bit more fun.
True. Oregon perhaps should have been in it a little longer if they played a better game. In Notre Dame's case, they lost 2 weird games. I mean, the first game could have gone either way. But listen, have your team be entertaining to you, and have your team continuously not make stupid decisions, no matter win or lose, and you'll be all right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining us here on the Solid Verbal. Welcome to our exclusive little club here. We do our best to make college football enjoyable. And as you know, Dan, not drop the ball before the goal line, which is apparently a thing again in the world of football.
Such a thing.
Where did this come from? Was this Deshaun Jackson?
Deshaun Jackson did it. I mean, Kalen Clay did it a couple years ago for Utah.
Yeah.
I understand. Like, after a long run, you want to start the celebration as soon as possible. I get that. We've all been there, Ty. We prematurely celebrate things that are not yet ready to be celebrated.
What is it representing, though? Like a mentality of it ain't no thing that I just scored a touch. Like, what is the premise behind this?
It's a desire to start celebrating without the ball.
What it is.
I think that's all it is.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, in these situations, I'm obsessive when just one thought of Utah comes up, and I'm aggressive just one thought of close enough. You got me stressed and incessantly pressing the issue of dropping the ball, because every moment gone, I miss you. You're in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about here? Ty, I'm the question, and of course.
Now, that's Rihanna, right? That's a Rihanna song. Yeah.
It is a Rihanna song.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called. I forget what it's called, but that's a Rihanna song.
I'm saying this as an Oregon fan, Ty. SOS, please, someone help me.
Okay.
It's not healthy for me to feel this way.
Well, on that note, a handful of really good games in week 4.
Yes.
None that make me more excited than the designated survivor debut coming this week, but Georgia Ole Miss, I guess, would be close to that, if at all.
That TV show looks like such hot trash, Ty.
Oh, I'm in, baby.
I don't think you understand when TV shows, especially network TV shows that have to produce 20 some odd episodes, do action and sort of the sequences that involve special effects like explosions. They become so cheesy as that budget dries up so quickly.
Yep.
It's so bad. It's so
I'm in.
bad.
I'm in, baby. Can you imagine Kiefer Sutherland in a college football drama in the boardroom helping pick the top 4 teams? That I'd watch. That I'd watch.
I don't think Kiefer Sutherland is reliable enough to show up every week.
All right. We're going nowhere fast here. Let's get to week 4.
Dan, Ty, help. I need picks of the
Help. I need picks of the week. To be honest, I'm not sure how much help I can be.
What was your record last week?
Oh, man. I'm 0 for the century this year.
Yeah.
I
Surest
really
thing
am.
college football picking.
Yeah. My inclination is to just take the points in every game. I will say, though, we've got a fine gentleman who is keeping track of our selections. And he missed one game that you and I both got right. And I tried to throw a comment to him in the Google Doc, and I don't think he saw it, and I'm not happy about it because we both had BYU, the BYU-Utah Holy War game a couple weeks ago. We both had that game right, and he didn't mark it. And believe you me, I need every single solitary point that I can get at this point.
All right. Well, I'm glad that those two teams aren't playing each other this week because that would have made for a really boring week 4 game.
This is true. Yeah, it really is.
I'm really glad they are. No, it's a fun week. I would not wager money on any of our picks.
No,
Use your
God,
own
no.
gut and turn to the Solid Verbal for secret verbals and tips about Rihanna lyrics.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know what the point is at this point.
Yeah, if you want to make fun of us, you can call in at 408-VERBAL-1. That's 408-837-2251. Our good friend Taylor from Red Shell Radio, we throw out his Twitter account.
Oh, he's great.
Every Friday, every Friday in our newsletter of intent, which you can sign up for on our website or through our Facebook page. Give him a follow. He does a remarkable job, not only with the newsletter, but also with the hundreds of reverbs that come in on a weekly basis. So many calls last week during week 3, and they're only going to continue to grow in number. That sort of seems to be the trend here on the show.
I should mention, too, though, that between you, me, and Taylor, only one of our teams is undefeated.
Yeah, that would be the Maryland Terrapins.
Go Terps, fear the turtle.
All right. Where do we want to start? Want to go high noon here, nooner?
Yeah, let's go with the Nooners and give people their window to enjoy their friends and family as well.
So I've been looking at these games. I would say, unless you're a Big Ten fan or have a rooting interest for either Tennessee or Florida, I feel like middle of the afternoon is probably your best bet, like between, let's say, 3:30 and 7.
Yeah, if you're a fan of offense, and it's pretty clear that some of those 3:30 games aren't going to be giving you much in the way of moving the ball, you can have the games on, but maybe work on a puzzle, the coffee table with your kids, something like that. Half watch those games.
So let's go to high noon on ESPN. Ole Miss now at home, a 7.5-point favorite. They are hosting the Georgia Bulldogs, Dan. So look, I've been looking at this as closely as I can, and I still have no idea what I'm doing here, but it is not lost to me that Ole Miss played both Florida State and Alabama in the first 3 weeks of the year. Win or lose, that's a hell of a ride, man.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a ride. And unlike a lot of the teams that we're going to discuss here, it really gives us a nice portal into what Ole Miss is really made of. You know, it's like only week 4, but already I think we've got a pretty good sense for what Ole Miss is as a football team. And we're already asking the question, what does Ole Miss have left in the tank? I feel like that's a fair question at this point, no?
It is a fair question, and secretly one of the best transitive property teams in the country. Louisville would be favored by 77 points against Ole Miss. We're just hearing that from our friends in the desert. Yes, Ole Miss is easily the most involved in the most entertaining games of the year.
Yes.
But we are not sure that they can close out a decent team, or if not a very good team, which is fine, but they play in the SEC West, and they're going to have to do more closing than not if they hope to return to anywhere near a New Year's Day game.
I would agree with that. I'm really just looking for an excuse to play our Bruce Feldman body blow theory.
Please.
I don't know if it really applies here, but I'm just going to substitute that in place of a team that I don't know what they have left in the tank, because really it has been a gruesome 3 weeks for them. What has our narrative been this season about Ole Miss's defense, Dan?
They play good for a half. They play good early on, and they don't necessarily have the depth or ability to adjust over 4 quarters.
I would agree with that. I think as a whole, we're in agreement that Ole Miss has a lot of ammo on defense. It's still a pretty good defense, better than a lot of defenses out there. What I found interesting is that Bill C., our friend Bill Connolly, SB Nation, his advanced analytics, the S&P numbers, they're a lot less friendly towards Ole Miss. And, that's bound to happen when you play 2 top 10 teams right off the bat. But these are opponent-adjusted numbers. And I just kind of was caught off guard by how much his numbers hate Ole Miss as a collective unit.
Ole Miss's defense is stretched because that offense is either scoring quickly or off the field quickly. So in terms of points allowed per drive, it's not great because they are seeing a lot of offensive drives. And that's what I think is, it doesn't necessarily mean that the defense in a vacuum is bad. It means situationally they're put in a tough spot.
Where I'm going with this is that I'm interested to see how Ole Miss goes at Georgia, just from a defensive standpoint. I'm looking at Nick Chubb. We know he was great, rushed for 220 plus yards in week 1. But the next 2 weeks, teams loaded up the box. Yeah. And he's had fewer than 4 yards per carry in his last 2 games. They have essentially forced Jacob Eason to beat him. Now that he has done that against Missouri, does that change the approach on defense? And does that give Nick Chubb more opportunities? That's the question I have here.
Yeah, it's not a bad question. I wouldn't come away from that Missouri-Georgia game thinking Jacob Eason is all of a sudden a winning quarterback, even though he won that game. I don't know that he won that game. He threw the ball 55 times to get to 300 yards. Did not have, I think he completed 50% of his passes. Was not all that effective downfield, but they pulled it out. The defense turning Missouri over certainly helps. In this specific matchup, man, if Ole Miss had not played against Bama last week, I would love them a lot more. I think the line's about a touchdown?
Yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, Georgia might be very average offensively. So I think I'm just going to go with the home team here. I'm going to give the points. Georgia's been struggling to play consistently the past 2 weeks. Not that Ole Miss hasn't been, but I feel like Ole Miss at the top of their game, at home, with the better quarterback, with I think a team on par talent-wise with Georgia, if not a little above at this point.
Yeah.
I think they get behind the Georgia secondary enough with, whoever it is, Attaboy Joe, DeMaurice Stringfellow. They'll do it, and it will be a regrouping game. Because I think it's a guy that either going one of 2 ways. Somebody's getting killed. And I don't think Georgia has the manpower and the cohesiveness to do that, or the cohesion to do that at this moment in week 4.
Yeah, I think Ole Miss is the better team here. I'm in agreement as far as that goes. I am just a little worried, though, that they're going to be worn down.
Sure.
So I think they win the game, but I think Georgia keeps it close and just barely inside of that point spread. Let's say like 34-28, somewhere in that range. I'm going to go Georgia plus the points.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Let's go to our second nooner here in our big featured games category on the Solid Verbal. This one on Big Ten Network. This is a big game on the Big Ten Network.
Sure.
Again, high noon at Michigan State. The Spartans now a 5.5-point favorite at home against Wisconsin. A lot of chatter out there right now, and it caught me off guard, to be honest with you. A lot of chatter out there right now about the Big Ten being the best conference in college football.
Really?
Yeah, Paul Feinbaum even said it, so you know it's true.
Okay.
I was trying to go through and classify teams in the Big Ten. And I understand that this statement is based predominantly on how Big Ten teams have fared in non-conference games thus far, and it's totally fair. But as we project forward, and I'm going to compare the Big Ten to the ACC and the SEC, because those are the two most likely candidates here. But you've got Ohio State and Michigan at the top, I think followed in very close proximity by teams like Michigan State, Nebraska,
That's so
Iowa.
disrespectful, Ty.
Nah, Michigan State's not a top echelon Big Ten team.
Why is Michigan better than Michigan State right now?
I trust them more.
You trust them more, but why are they better?
I think they've got a better defense, and I think in time a better offense.
Man,
so I just think they're a better team across the board.
Okay. Well, listen, we don't know how good Notre Dame is, and that's not a slight to you, but we honestly don't know how good Notre Dame is.
Fair.
But
that's fair.
Michigan has easily beaten Hawaii, UCF, and struggled with Colorado. Michigan State has struggled with whom exactly?
Furman?
At the moment. I don't think they struggled like Michigan struggled with Colorado.
It wasn't a struggle.
I would put Michigan State coming off of a playoff run with a quarterback who's looking to be more immediately interesting and productive than Connor Cook did early on in his career. Tyler O'Connor looks good to me. To go on the road and beat Notre Dame is more impressive to me at this moment than anything Michigan has done. That's what it is to me.
Well, let's put it this way. Your top 3 in the Big Ten.
Yes.
Ohio
Thank
State,
you, Ty.
Ohio
Look
State,
at you showing
Michigan
respect.
State. Just trying to get you points, man. That's
I
all.
ride for Sparty.
You got Nebraska, Iowa, Wisconsin. The fringe team in Tier 2 in the Big Ten is Penn State. And maybe Maryland, depending how things go. I still feel like the teams in the SEC from top to bottom are better. But it hasn't shown early in non-conference games. So perhaps as we project out over the span of a full season, the SEC will start coming out in front in that discussion. Mm-hmm. The ACC in the mix as well, because you got 3 top teams in Louisville, Clemson, and Florida State, who I think are in that top rung. But Pitt, Miami, Virginia Tech, who knows where they go. Far and away, those are your 3 best conferences. I'm not sure I favor the Big Ten thus far. I know what they've done in non-conference games has been pretty impressive, but I kind of feel like the SEC still has a better quality of team.
Okay. I'm gonna take a very small exception with the statement you just made. I took exception with the fact that you did not include Michigan State in a top 3 in the Big Ten, and I'm going to take exception at this point with the fact that you've decided to include Florida State in a top 3 in the ACC.
Nah, I still put them in the top 3.
If they had lost 34-20, okay. If they had lost 37-14, all right, a bad day. They got the ever-loving snot kicked out of them, Ty. Do they belong in a same conversation with Louisville? After Saturday, they're in a similar tier as Louisville? Whatever tier Louisville is on, Florida State's on the outside, Ty.
All right. Fair enough. Anyway.
I can't wait for that Louisville-Clemson game.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Where are we? Oh, a nooner, right. Big Ten Network.
Let's get back to, let's stop our outrage over arbitrary opinions.
Back to the topic at hand. Michigan State at home, 5.5 points the favorite against Wisconsin. There is, I think, a little bit of a letdown potential here for Michigan State.
Okay.
Big game, but be mindful of the fact that they beat Notre Dame last week. Big win on the road. I'd also say be a little bit more mindful of letdown potential when Michigan State goes on the road to Indiana next week. Just throwing that out there. Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Indiana. Perhaps a little bit of letdown. What did you learn last week from Michigan State? I have an answer to the question, but is there anything in particular that jumps out at you?
The fact that they were throwing downfield as well as they did. Tyler O'Connor with a pretty green receiving core and group of pass catchers other than Josiah Price. And that defensively, they were able to stop Notre Dame on the ground as much as they were. After Notre Dame looked so good on the ground the couple weeks before, I figured Notre Dame would be at least decent, would at least carve out chunks on the ground. Nothing special against a good Michigan State defense, but the fact that they were so strong up front and so experienced up front, that worries me about every other team that Michigan State has to play starting this week with a wounded Wisconsin run game with Corey Clement beat up. I think Taiwan Deal is beat up. That would worry me if I were a Big Ten team that's going to be heavily leaning on the run against Michigan State.
Yeah, and that's actually my point. They were really good against the run, especially when they knew it was coming. And I say that with all due respect to Notre Dame.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, the whole world knew it was coming because of Notre Dame's stupid play calling. But it's got some merit here because with Wisconsin, and especially their questions at quarterback, now that they're going to Alex Hornibrook, the whole world knows that Wisconsin would prefer to run it. And as you mentioned, that's an issue because they are banged up with Clement and the ankle, with Taiwan Deal, even Bradwick Shaw. All these guys are nicked up. They're not going to be able to beat. Wisconsin isn't going to be able to beat Michigan State with the pass the way Notre Dame did in the second half last weekend. And I think that benefits Michigan State in a huge way in a game like this.
Okay. This is the first, and again, all due respect or disrespect to Notre Dame, it's the first good defense Michigan State is playing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a lot better than Notre Dame's because I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks that Wisconsin has had on the season.
So Wisconsin offers something that Notre Dame does not.
They are not giving up 36 points to Michigan State.
Right. Okay. I think Michigan State is 10 points better than Wisconsin. I think they cover this game. I think it's a little sloppy. I don't think it's a 10-point game the entire time or anywhere near the entire time. I would put it at something like 24-14 Michigan State.
We are in the same ballpark.
We agree, sort of.
Sort of. I think Michigan State wins, but I think it's a little lower scoring. Wow. I'm going to say 17-14 Michigan State.
Oh, so you're taking those dang points.
I'm taking the dang points. I think it's a close game. One of those 3-point type games, could get to 24-14 if they score a late touchdown, maybe a front door cover, something like that.
Question, and this is probably more for people, Wisconsin fans listening than for you or I. Is it Hornibrook or Hornibrook?
I believe it's Hornibrook, and I'm going with
Is it full Horny?
I'm going Horny.
Okay, you're going Horny. Just talking about Wisconsin's passing game. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going Horny.
Okay.
And if he does well, Horny for Hornibrook is something that we could probably get a .com for.
Oh, yeah. I'm 11 years old. What do we have next?
Next, let's go to 3:30. So look, again, to our point from before, if you're not an SEC fan, and if you don't care about Tennessee or Florida, and if you don't care about Michigan or Penn State, this could be the window of opportunity. Could be. See what kind of sales are out there. Go to Home Depot. I don't know.
I think the only problem with that is the defensive lines of both Tennessee and Florida are must-see TV at this point in terms of individual units that are worthwhile.
Okay. Well, you keep the discussion about individual units to yourself. But let's go 3:30 here. This is a rivalry game on CBS. A good game if you're into this sort of thing. Tennessee at home. A 6.5-point favorite against Florida, Dan. Again, I'm going to go back to like our preseason show, and I'm going to quote the wise prophet Ashanti, and I'm going to say it's about trust, babe.
Okay.
It's about trust, babe.
And who do you trust?
Do you trust Tennessee yet, Dan?
No, absolutely
absolutely not. I don't.
Let me ask you about Austin Appleby, though, Ty. Do you trust new Florida quarterback and current or former Purdue transfer Austin Appleby going to Tennessee, going to Neyland Stadium against a good defense?
Do you trust Austin Appleby more than Josh Dobbs?
I have no idea.
The fact that you think about it at all is an indictment against Josh Dobbs.
Okay, so where is the biggest mismatch as you see it?
Well, I mean, the obvious mismatch to me, and maybe it's not a direct answer to your question, but it just feels like something's missing with Tennessee on offense, and there is like zero killer instinct with that offense, and I think it starts up front because the offensive line has been sort of a mess all year. You put that against Florida's front seven, and I just don't know if you can suddenly expect things to change after we've seen it now, 3 weeks running where it's kind of been in disarray. Now against a Florida defensive front that's been really good all year, that to me would seem to be a pretty big question mark here.
I'm still going to say Austin Appleby going to Neyland Stadium for his first start for Florida, going against this Tennessee defense. Mind you, a Tennessee defense without Cam Sutton, a great player. I think they get Jalen Reeves-Maben back, supposedly, at the time of this recording. He is supposed to be playing this week, and I think another linebacker is as well. So Tennessee will be healthier than they have been up front. But I still think the best thing in this game is Florida's defensive line. And I think it's going to travel enough. I think they get to Dobbs enough with that up and down Tennessee offensive line that I'm going to take the points. I don't know if Florida wins outright. Actually, you know what? Florida's going to win this game 16-13.
16-13?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be what? The 12th straight Florida win?
Something like that,
That
yeah.
sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you sort of know where I stand now. The offense, to me, just hasn't shown enough on the Tennessee front.
It's just sloppy.
Yeah, it's bad. We're talking now about a rivalry game against, statistically now, the best defense in the country through 3 weeks. This is not an ideal spot. I am concerned, and rightfully so, about Florida's ability to score with that new quarterback on the road at Tennessee. However, it is the year of the Purdue takeover in the SEC.
So where are you going?
Florida's not ripping off big plays on the ground, but they're definitely better than they were on offense a year ago. And I think with their defense, a conservative game plan is probably good enough to get it done here. I'm taking Florida outright. I'm saying it's a close one. I'm going to go ahead and lock it up, baby.
Lock of the week.
This is the ultimate heads I win, tails you lose, because
Spicy.
I'm good no matter what happens here, just as a fan.
This is true.
So
All
give me Florida plus the points.
Let's go back to that Big Ten action, Ty, that you crave so much.
That hot Big Ten action. Best conference in college football. Ow!
Okay. All right.
3:30 on ABC in the Big House. Michigan at home, 18.5 points, the favorite against my beloved Penn State Nittany Lions. For those who still email 8 years later wondering what's the deal with Ty and Notre Dame and Penn State. I went to Penn State. I'm a Notre Dame fan. I am also a Penn State fan, but if I had to select between the two, and I know it makes me weird,
right?
If I had to pick between the two, Notre Dame is still the alpha dog, but I am a Penn State fan as well.
All right, and you don't root for the New York Yankees, do you?
I do root for the New York Yankees.
Oh, Notre Dame and the New York Yankees.
Yeah,
do you root for the house when you go to a casino? You're like, man, that dealer just nailed it again. Good for you, Tim.
No. You can say whatever you want, Dan, sticks and stones, but I remain very confident in who I am as a sports fan.
Okay. Penn State is 18.5-point dogs in this game in the Big House.
Yeah.
And break it down to me why Penn State covers the spread.
I have no idea how to handicap this game. I'll be very honest with you. All I know is this. Jim Harbaugh is far and away the superior coach.
Okay.
And I think that stands for something in a game like this. This game has had a history of being close in the past. Let me go back to this because I talked about it a little bit with Ole Miss and their defense and the advanced numbers and whatnot. Penn State's another case where I'm not sure the advanced stats and the on-field product are quite in unison. All right.
How so?
The S&P says that this is the 14th best defense in the country so far, Penn State.
Okay.
That will change by season's end. They've
played a couple real teams.
They've played a couple real teams, but this team is still getting sorted out along the defensive line. They're really thin and banged up at linebacker. I'm not so sure they're going to be able to hold down Michigan enough to keep within the same zip code of the Wolverines here. Offensively, I think their line's a little better, but they're still really below average. Trace
especially
McSorley,
opening up holes, yeah.
Yeah, especially. Trace McSorley is an easy guy to root for, but I have no confidence in him throwing into an elite secondary like Michigan. So he's going to make mistakes here. I'm not sure Saquon Barkley is going to get enough to work with that he can keep Penn State in this game single-handedly. So I'm taking Michigan to win here, to cover here. I think they win big, like 38-17.
Okay. One of the interesting things is I know Michigan, they may get Taco Charlton and a couple other guys up front back this week. They seem confident that Jordan Lewis, their All-American corner, is going to be back, and certainly they could have used him last week. Their safeties got picked on last week. Seifa Lufau threw over this Michigan secondary. And he's not throwing to blue-chip talent at receiver. And Colorado was able to move the ball downfield, got enough time because Michigan couldn't consistently get a pass rush, maybe until the end of the game, to allow enough time to throw downfield. And I would imagine Penn State's going to try to replicate that after seeing that. Penn State has more talent at receiver, Deshaun Hamilton, Godwin. Yes? Is that fair?
Yeah.
I don't think Penn State's going to succeed all that much, but there is a bit of a formula at this point. If Penn State can turn Michigan over a little bit, Wilton Speight took a while to heat up against Colorado. Maybe it was just as a result of the offense or whatever the case may be, not taking the Buffs seriously. And I don't know how you don't take America's team seriously, but that's just me. That is just me.
Okay.
I think Penn State does enough to get a backdoor cover in this game.
Wow.
I'm going to take the points, and I think they lose 37-21.
You're giving them 21 points against Michigan.
Yeah. And Michigan is, they're getting healthier, and I think they sort of, the score is 28-7 for a good chunk of the game, and they just sort of come back in the fourth quarter against Michigan's second-string defense or something a little bit. I think they're going to cover this game.
Well, their offense does seem to be finding a little bit of a rhythm.
Doesn't Penn State have a weird thing where they always do something to Michigan? Aren't they spoilers?
There have been close games before.
Okay.
There have been close games.
Or does Michigan spoil Penn State? I can never remember.
Michigan usually gets the better part of Penn State.
Okay.
But, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly on the table here.
I should learn these things with the Big Ten being so far and away the best conference.
Best conference at football, according to Paul Feinbaum.
And Ty, I should also point this out. If you're going to this game, or if you're going to any Michigan game, don't listen to the people that say the Zingerman's is overhyped. Zingerman's is a great sandwich.
Zingerman's?
Zingerman's. This is the very famous sandwich place in Ann Arbor. Call ahead. Don't wait in line. Call ahead. The Jenny's Fix, they're like pastrami and slaw and cheese and special sauce. One of the best sandwiches I've ever had. Love the Jenny's Fix.
You know about my Ann Arbor experience, don't you?
I do. You saw an Arcade Fire. Not the Arcade Fire, an Arcade Fire.
Literally Pinball Pete's.
Yeah.
Burned down the day I was there. I was drunk walking through the streets with our friend.
Yeah, Camera Guy Dave.
And the police were walking around taking like images of people's faces. So there was at least like a 4% chance, probably a 0.4 chance, let's say, that I could have been caught up in an arson investigation.
All right. Look at you. You're rough.
Okay.
What's next, Ty?
What do you like most about shaving with Harry's, Dan?
I love how smooth and beautiful my face looks afterwards.
It does look beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure that's why the solid fiance said yes.
This is true. I'm going to be totally honest here because this is a show about honesty as much as it can be. I use a beard trimmer.
A beard trimmer?
I do use a beard trimmer. I keep like the stubble at the same rate pretty often. But I have been told, this is 100% true, by friends who have used Harry's to fully clean their face, as well as you, that it is the most comfortable, satisfying, smoothest shave that they've received.
Are you using the Norelco beard and mustache trimmer?
I am not going to give free advertising to a competitor of Harry's.
Right. Good idea. Good idea. Okay. Well, I do use the straight edge, Dan.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, I've converted my father-in-law. Harry's includes everything you need for a close, comfortable shave if you decide to order. They give you 5 German-engineered blades, Akya, which have a lubricating strip on them.
I thought it was Funf.
Funf in Akya. A lubricating strip on that razor with a flex hinge for a comfortable glide. Also a trimmer blade for those hard-to-reach places, and a weighted ergonomic handle. It sounds very futuristic because it is. All this for just $2 a blade, compared to like what, $4 you pay at the drugstore?
It's insane. It's completely insane.
You can save like $16 every time you buy an 8-pack of blades here from Harry's. Plus, all sorts of additional savings when you subscribe to a Harry's shave plan. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades that they're going to send you their popular free trial set, which comes with a razor, a 5-blade cartridge, and shaving gel. Free when you sign up for a shave plan. All right? Nice. Free when you sign up for a shave plan. Just pay the shipping. Plus, they've got a special offer now for fans of the Verbal. Enter the offer code SOLID at checkout and get a post-shave balm.
Oh, love a good balm.
Added to your order for free. If you are interested, go to harrys.com right now. Enter the code SOLID, that's SOLID at checkout. Claim your free trial set and post-shave balm. That is at harrys.com. Your offer code is SOLID. SOLID.
Man, you say balm in such a weird way.
Yeah.
Balm. Okay. Next game,
7 p.m. on ESPN.
Yeah.
LSU on the road. 3.5 points, a road favorite. Auburn. What do you think? Home dog of the week?
Yeah, play that Yakko sound for me.
The Yakkos. Home dog of the week.
Actually, I jumped the gun a little bit here. I've got another home dog later, but
okay.
It's the first home
multiple
dog.
Home dogs.
The first home dog we got to here. I am calling this one the Hot Seat Bowl, sponsored by Preparation H, Dan.
Nice. Okay. I I like Auburn here.
Yeah?
You know why I like Auburn? Because I keep saying the same stupid thing, like, tough place to play, good defense, home dog, that's where I'm going. And you know what? Screw it. I'm going to be right one of these times. LSU is starting Danny Etling, who's fine. Auburn has a good defense. Their offense is garbage. Listen, they're playing a home game against a good team, and they at least do half of what they're supposed to do well. I'm rolling with Auburn because I'm rolling with my stupid ideas.
So you, along with Vegas, are still swiping right on Auburn.
Correct, absolutely.
That surprises me. The offense is still garbage with no explosion. Defense is solid. That's really the only thing keeping the boat
Defense
afloat.
is really good.
It's all right.
Oh, my God, they're
This
good,
isn't the
man.
85 Bears. They're okay.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and trust that Purdue takeover. We're going Austin Appleby. We're going Danny Etling. I think
on
he
a
makes
collision course, though.
on a collision course here. That's how we create the singularity in college football. He's going to make enough plays in the passing game to keep Auburn honest and create opportunities for our boy Leo Fournette. So probably a terrible football game to watch.
Yeah, at least it'll be over quickly, I think. They're going to run enough.
I think this is another game where one team could somehow achieve 19 points.
Okay.
I'm going to say LSU wins 19-15.
All right.
And they cover the spread.
Which of these offenses is less garbage to you? Is it LSU's because of Leonard Fournette?
It's got to be LSU because of Leonard Fournette, yeah.
Okay, so they jumped out to a big enough lead last week. Leonard Fournette fumbles it a couple of times after looking really good, but fumbles it a couple of times late. Believing in Les Miles and Cam Cameron to consistently be pretty good is too much for me. I'm sorry. I think both of these teams are butt, and this is just LSU's week to be butt.
Okay.
Also, if you didn't see the butt rankings by some user on Twitter for every SEC team,
that was good. Yeah, that was good.
Really do check it out. It's great.
All right. You got LSU. I got LSU. You got Auburn.
Yeah.
All right. We must move quickly. We've got a bunch of other teams here. We do disagree.
Yeah. Next game.
7:30 on Fox. Baylor at home. 9.5 points. The favorite against Oklahoma State, Dan. So Baylor, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's talked a whole lot about Baylor this season. They haven't played anybody of note.
Right.
The only time we've mentioned them was on our Sunday show because they were really sloppy in the first quarter against Rice.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea who's going to win this game, Dan. I have no idea whatsoever.
Okay.
My hunch is that there are a ton of points in this game, and you know where I stand on shootouts? 9.5 points. A lot of points. I could see 35-30. I could see 45-40. I could see 65-60 here.
Yeah.
I can't see one team winning by 10.
Okay. I think Baylor wins by a couple touchdowns.
Really?
I am not a big enough believer in Oklahoma State at this point as a complete offensive team since they still can't run the ball. And I still think that's pretty crucial if you're going to beat Baylor. And this is not the same Baylor team that we've seen these past couple years. They don't throw the ball with the same type of efficiency we're used to seeing from them. But Oklahoma State defensively, they've been pretty bad against the pass. And that's still where Baylor is strong. Baylor still has Katie Cannon. And I'm just, the matchups, I understand what you're saying with going shootout and taking the points, but I'm going to go with Baylor here after an emotional couple weeks with Oklahoma State and the delay against Pitt, and they pull it out late. I think it's a letdown spot for the Cowboys. It's at Baylor, right?
It is at Baylor, yeah.
It's at Baylor. So I think going on the road, it's still going to be a tough place to play. I think Baylor's a couple touchdowns better. I think there are going to be a number of points in this game, but I think it's 45-31 Bears.
Are they sailgating at that new stadium?
I sure hope so. Do something fun there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I am all aboard the Oklahoma State train at this point.
Wow.
If only because they got screwed 2 weeks ago, and now they got that bogus loss in the schedule.
Yeah.
If that is not a wake-up call to play better and have more purpose and focus, I don't know what is. I don't know if they win here, Dan, but I think they cover, and I think this is a wild game with a lot of points. So give me Oklahoma State to at least cover 9.5.
May I give you an option for this game?
Yes.
We have not yet selected, at least publicly, America's team for this week.
No.
Oklahoma State is not going to be your America's team.
No. I got
Okay.
America's team coming later here.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, I got America's team coming later.
Okay.
8 o'clock, ABC. A Pac-12 Contest.
Tete-a-tete?
Contest.
Okay.
What do we call this game?
I mean, is this another home dog for you?
No. I can't root for Josh Rosen anymore.
Why not?
I get the sense that he's too cool for school with that mustache and
He's too cool with that mustache?
yeah, he's going like super hipster at the quarterback position.
Okay.
What is that mustache?
Do you think that people see him out in LA that don't know who he is and see that mustache and go, oh my God, that guy's so cool?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, you just did.
I know. I don't know. It's like he's playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers. Like that's the vibe I get from him. And the on-field production does not necessarily match that mentality. Mm-hmm. But there's something like I feel like he's gaming us.
Okay.
And it could just be me. I don't know.
It could be.
8 p.m. ABC, Stanford, 3 points, a favorite on the road at UCLA. Did this point spread surprise you at all?
UCLA was initially favored, were they not?
I don't know if they were, but I feel
Stanford.
like
they opened up at as 1.5 point favorites, and within an hour it went to Stanford 1.5. Now it's at like 3.
Yeah, it is at 3. That would surprise me even more then. So it's still surprising. UCLA, I think, has been a huge disappointment this year. A ton of trouble stopping the run. Their front seven's been really disappointing. And that just doesn't bode well in a game where you're going to have to go against Christian McCaffrey.
True, although didn't they shore everything up defensively to at least an acceptable extent against BYU last week?
Yeah, but what is BYU as an offensive entity?
Jamal Williams, 14 carries for 28 yards. His long rush against UCLA, 5 yards.
Okay.
So they did tighten up last week. Under who, Ty? Tom Scrap Bradley.
Tom Scrap Bradley, that's correct.
Tom Scrap Bradley. I am really tempted to go UCLA here.
Really?
Unfortunately, I don't trust the defense enough, and Josh Rosen in his second year should be less prone to bonehead, stubborn mistakes. He still he forces things because he knows he's good enough to make them work a lot of the time, make those throws work a lot of the time. Unfortunately, he just doesn't throw the ball away when he needs to throw the ball away, or doesn't take the 3-yard scramble out of bounds instead of trying to throw it downfield. And I understand that. I understand that attacking aggressive mentality. One of us has it on our fantasy teams.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to go Stanford just because they feel like a team that will constantly take advantage. And as soon as Josh Rosen throws a dumb pick, they're going to march down the field for a 39-minute drive with 17 tight ends on the field and just completely squash the hopes and dreams of the Bruins. So I think Stanford wins this game, but UCLA puts enough fear into them that we think they're better than we think they are tonight.
Okay.
So I'm going to say 20. I think it's going to be a lot like the USC game with a little more fight from UCLA. So 27-17 Stanford with a late, like it's 23 or 20, what would it be? 20-17 late, and they scored a touchdown to put it away. So 27-17.
All right, so I'm writing this down. Noted Stanford alum Dan Rubenstein going Stanford minus the points.
If the worst thing you can call me is a Stanford alum, I'm fine.
Neither one of us would ever be confused with a Stanford alum, believe me.
Correct.
All right, so I'm going Stanford here because I think UCLA is mediocre on offense. Their offensive line numbers have been terrible. That is a problem here. You and I, we're always going to be in this place where we disagree on Stanford.
Right.
I never give them enough credit. I always think you give them too much credit. The truth is really that this team's probably somewhere in the middle this year. Where I think we can agree to some extent is that there aren't a whole lot of logical reasons, statistical or otherwise, to pick UCLA to win this game outright. And that doesn't mean that they can't and that they won't. But based on what we've seen so far, I'm not sure I can get myself to that point where I can pick them to win. Right. In a 3-point game, I think Stanford covers. It might be 27-17, somewhere in that range. So I guess this is my long-winded way of saying that we agree. And I kind of trend along with your mentality of, they might put the fear of God into Stanford, but Stanford's still going to cover here.
Is there no pause because of that initial line, and even 3 points feels a little bit low.
Like a Vegas knows something kind of game.
Right. There's just something weird.
Yeah, there is something weird here, but no, I'm going Stanford.
Okay. I'm not all that confident in this game. It's nowhere near a lock to me for whatever reason.
All right, and finally, before we get to a handful of other noteworthy games, we've got 9 p.m. in AT&T Stadium, a neutral site game. This one on ESPN. Texas A&M 6.5 points. The favorite over Arkansas. Dan, I'm afraid to pick this game.
Really?
I'm afraid. Yeah, I don't know. It's so easy to fall in love with the star power of A&M and with the big receivers and the defense, and then you got Arkansas, which is always borderline erotic.
Borderline erotic. Borderline erotic.
Always borderline erotic, but sadly no sex appeal. And still they're 3-0. So,
Man, really?
Yeah, so I'm kind of on the fence here.
Arkansas doesn't get you going?
No, they don't. They really don't.
Concerned about Texas A&M's play calling and stubbornness to keep throwing the ball and inability to consistently get it to Christian Kirk. But I think they're a more complete team at this point. It's a de facto home game. Aggie fans are going to fill that stadium. It's in North, what do they call it? They call it North Texas or Arlington or whatever.
Arlington, excuse me.
Arlington, yes, excuse me. Yeah, I think A&M wins this game behind the defense. I think they turn over Austin Allen a couple of times. I think they give themselves good field position. I think they're able to run a bit with Travion Williams, who I really, really like. So I'm going to go 27. I'm going to go 28-20. Auburn, Texas A&M covers this game.
I've got 28-21.
Wow.
In favor of Texas A&M. A&M might be the second best team in the SEC West. I don't want to get too excited yet, but it looks like this is all going pretty well in 2016. I love the defense, right? It's mobile, agile, hostile. Like, remember the Titans, especially along the line. They're going to give Arkansas fits here because they'll give everyone fits. I like Arkansas as a team. I think they're solid. They're probably solid enough to win this game. Their ceiling, though, is not as high as A&M's. Not at all. I think the A&M defense is going to force Arkansas to a place where they make some mistakes. I think Trevor Knight can pass on Arkansas, but I'm calling it right now, and I got to get this off my chest. People are already starting to talk themselves into Trevor Knight.
Oh, why?
They're starting to do it, all right? I've got headlines here from SECcountry.com.
Right.
Trevor Knight and Texas A&M, a perfect fit.
This was recently?
This was just this week.
Oh, man.
All right, okay. I think it was. I went on Google News and searched it, but
okay.
Just play with me here for a second.
Okay.
Trevor Knight and Texas A&M, a perfect fit.
Okay.
After quarterback's transfer from Oklahoma. From the Dallas Morning News, what Trevor Knight brings to A&M that was missing with a talented QB duo of Kyle Allen and Kyler Murray. From Gridiron Now, Trevor Knight coming into his own as Texas A&M quarterback. Sooner or later, he's going to get you.
What?
He's going to get you. He did it to Oklahoma. They were writing the same stuff after that Sugar Bowl game.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Just when you least expect it, he's going to get you. So, I don't know if it's this guy. I don't think it's this game. But he's going to get you at some point, Aggie fans.
I think Ole Miss, by the way, is the second best team still in the SEC West.
Fair.
Because how many points did they just score on this Alabama defense?
43.
I don't see Texas A&M scoring 43 on Bama. Do you?
Probably not, no.
And maybe Texas A&M's defense is better than Ole Miss. I'm willing to accept that. But in terms of putting the fear of life into Bama, the clear class of the SEC West, jumping up 24-3, almost coming back and winning that game, scoring 40 points on that defense, I don't think Texas A&M is in that category as a complete team. Not yet.
That's why I used the word might.
But I think it's pretty open. It's a pretty open-ended question. I get that.
For sure. So, I'm going A&M. I think as long as this line stays below 7, I'm going to go A&M. I'm teetering right on the brink, but I'm going to say A&M 28, Arkansas 21 here.
Okay.
All right. We've got another ad read, and then
What do we have?
Got a bunch of other games. At DraftKings.com, Dan.
Yeah.
You don't need to come in first place to cash in.
Good.
And believe me,
good.
that is great for us.
Uh-huh.
Because we've been sucking wind all year. The player who finished 800 in week one's biggest fantasy football contest, he took home $100.
Not bad.
Not bad. This weekend, DraftKings is doing it again. Another huge fantasy contest. Over $1 million in total prizes up for grabs. As you know by now, DraftKings, the destination for 1 week fantasy football. 1 week fantasy football, again, means, you know it, no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want, wherever you want, with the players you want. Pick your contest, draft your team, follow the action live. Renew all the old rivalries you have with friends and family and coworkers. Find out who the superior GM really is. Whatever your level of fantasy expertise, DraftKings has something for all y'all. So here's all you got to do. Don't wait. Get on out to DraftKings.com now. Choose your players for this week's contest. Enter the promo code SOLID, SOLID. Play for free, that's FREE, with your first deposit. That's the promo code SOLID. Play for free for your share of over $1 million in total prizes this weekend. Only at DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com. Eligibility restrictions may apply, so do check out the website for details. Dan Rubenstein.
Done and done.
All right, so we've got a handful of other noteworthy games, Dan. Let's start, let's jump around. Around here. Let's go ACC.
We are the House of Pain.
Florida State, -6.5 points on the road at USF. Now we're talking America's team, Dan.
Wow.
Is that fair?
I think that's okay. I love that.
USF, led by one Willie Taggart. Upstart. I don't know. It seems like it'd be fun to root for them against Florida State.
I think you're totally dead on. I think USF should be our America's team. Does it feel like we're kicking a team when they're down in Florida State?
Yes.
Is that okay with you?
I mean, my team's out of it, so sure. I picked Florida State to win the national championship.
This year?
I was thinking about it. I don't know if we actually gave a championship pick, but I had them in the playoff.
They were in your 4.
I had them winning the ACC and beating Clemson, and this is the reason why you pump the brakes on Louisville. Yeah, they're dead to me now. So whatever, whatever happens.
All right, I'm fine with that. I would love for USF to win this game. Although if USF wins this game, this is the final year of Willie Taggart.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So I'm totally fine with this. Although I do have a pick for another America's team.
Okay. Florida State, I think, wins and covers, but Florida State could be in a letdown spot here after getting crushed a week ago in a big game, lost by 43 on the road at Louisville.
I think Florida State was in a letdown spot in the second quarter of that Louisville game.
Florida State was already preparing for USF in the second quarter of that game.
Yeah.
All right. Another Saturday game. Speaking of Louisville, 25 points. Wow. 25 points on the road at Marshall here, Dan. I'm going to resurrect an old sound, but you got Clemson on deck. You had a huge program season-defining win a week ago against Florida State. Maybe
Let-down look-ahead sandwich time?
Let-down look-ahead sandwich.
Oh, look at that sandwich. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
What do you think here?
I think I wish Marshall were better at running the ball and weren't pretty average in everything they do this year, and then I would feel better about it. Do you think Lamar Jackson will himself account for more points than this spread of 25?
Yes.
Which is such a weird question. Really?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Well,
I do.
If that's the case, then you have to give the points.
Yeah, I would say that's a reasonable standpoint.
But you don't think it's going to be a sandwich?
I do think it's going to be a sandwich, actually.
Okay.
I'm going to go Marshall plus the points. I don't think they have any real chance to win this football game. But I do think that letdown look-ahead sandwich, first off, it's the first time we really played the sound all year.
It's a great sound.
I'm already dead in all of our pick'em contests. Like, I have no credibility at this point of being like this great Nostradamus of college football prognostications.
Don't say that. We never had credibility.
No, that's true. But I'm just saying, I want to root for fun stuff as a football fan.
I think that's good.
And so Marshall covering this point spread, I'm not going to play home dog of the week. But
Okay.
I think there's a potential here for them to score a lot of points. I think there's a ton of potential for them to give up a lot of points. They gave up 65, I think, to Akron a week ago. But I'm going to say Marshall plus 25.
Okay. I'm going to go with Louisville. I'm going to ride the hot hand.
Staying in the ACC, we got a Thursday night game.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson, minus 10 on the road at Georgia Tech. Who you got?
I wanted to take Georgia Tech, but I think we're seeing good Clemson at this point. And Georgia Tech, while they look better than they did last year, I don't think they have that. They don't have the defense to keep up, and I don't think they have the explosion on offense. It is weird. It's a Thursday night game?
Thursday night game? Thursday night, yeah.
And where are they playing this game, Ty?
This game is at Georgia Tech.
I'm still going to go to Clemson. I'm still going to go to Clemson for my pick.
Going to go Clemson, yeah.
I'm going to hate myself if Georgia Tech does the Thursday night amped up crowd, but I don't see it. Sorry, I got Clemson here. This is
our 9th season of doing the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
For those new listeners, our 9th season of doing this show.
Yeah.
Have we ever correctly figured out Georgia Tech?
No, never, ever, ever. As soon as you think they're good, they're bad. As soon as you think they're bad, they're good.
So I think the proper move is to just abstain.
Yeah.
Maybe not select this game at all because Georgia Tech's involved.
Okay.
All right.
That's cowardly, but that feels like us.
Yeah, it does. Saturday, BYU. I love this game. We're going to preview every BYU game.
Hell yeah.
From here on out.
Heck yeah.
So, BYU at West Virginia. West Virginia is 7-point favorite, Dan. Got to play the music. The quest for 20 still a thing.
They took a step back.
Still a thing. How is this still a thing?
Does BYU get to 20 before Notre Dame gets to a quarterback?
Ooh.
Is Notre Dame playing this week?
Notre Dame is playing this week, yeah.
Who do they have?
Notre Dame this week has Duke.
Oh, exciting.
If they can't get a sack against Duke, there's a lot more wrong than I thought.
So you think Notre Dame gets to a quarterback before BYU to 20?
They're both 3:30 games.
You know what this is? You know what this is shaping up to be because of their conference affiliations? BYU's quest for 20 on the same day of Notre Dame's quest for a sack is our Independence Day. It is our Independence Day. These sad, sad marks for success.
Yeah, really the low water mark here on the solid verbal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say Notre Dame gets the sack before BYU gets to 20.
Okay. So does BYU get to 20 though this weekend?
I mean, I kind of want to keep this going, so I'm going to say no.
I love that sound.
It's the King's Quest 5 theme. Yeah, I don't know. West Virginia wins but doesn't cover.
Oh, I think they cover.
26-19.
24-13.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's a long way to go. Utah to Morgantown.
Saturday, Pitt on the road at UNC. North Carolina minus. I feel like this game is like a perfect metaphor for any ACC game not involving Florida State, Clemson, or Louisville. You know, like you're basically throwing a dart.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna go Pitt here to cover the 7 because I feel like these teams are very even.
Okay. I mean, North Carolina's offense has been good. Yeah. I mean, Mitch Trubisky was very bad the opening week, but another note about this game, we will have no idea if these two teams played in 5 weeks. Has Pitt played North Carolina? I feel like they haven't.
Yeah.
You're right. It is sort of a generic ACC matchup at this point, but I think North Carolina covers this game. I think it's a letdown spot for Pitt. Another game on the road it's, traveling 2 weeks in a row. I think they're tired. I think they're worn down. I think North Carolina is the perfect team to take advantage of this.
Okay.
So I'm going to say 37-24 North Carolina.
All right. Friday, USC at Utah. Utah now a 3-point favorite. We are officially at the point where you can no longer trust USC's offense. It's of note that Clay Helton is there too, and he runs the team. That's why he's now made the move away from Max Brown and to Sam Darnold, the redshirt freshman quarterback. He's a little more mobile. Folks say he's got a stronger arm. We will see what he can do here. I think a lot to ask on the road, though, against a Utah defensive front that is really nasty.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go Utah. I'm going to go Utah here.
Revenge spot for Utah.
Yes.
At home after they were ranked like third in the country last year and lost in LA. I'm going to go USC here. I think it's a good refresh to have Sam Darnold stepping in. I didn't think Max Brown was all that good. Sam Darnold gets the job done, spreads the ball around. They're able to run a little bit, and they win this game. They finally look like a team, not the team, but a team.
The A team?
Yes, they look like the A team.
Okay.
They will drive back to LA in a very cool van.
Nice.
24-20 USC. They take this game on a weird Friday night game. Is this a Joe Test game?
It could be.
Okay, cool.
It should be if it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Saturday games here. Back to Saturday. Mm-hmm. Washington at Arizona. I didn't get your point spread here, but is there any reason to think Arizona can win?
So I just looked this up because I saw that it was a delayed spread because of Anu Solomon and Nick Wilson status. Arizona's backup running back, J.J. Taylor.
Yeah.
Watched some clips of him recently. He's got some wiggle. He's got some shimmy. Little guy. Yeah. J.J. Taylor. He's a wild card. I'm going to go Washington.
Can he score 40 points on his own?
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
There is no evidence to support this, and I'm going to say this at the top. Washington's the clear better team. It's a 10:30 p.m. game in Tucson. Rich Rod, this is a phrase that you like to use. De facto Super Bowl.
Yeah.
De facto national championship.
It is. So
the Pac-12 After Dark slate, I don't think is very deep this week. I know Oregon, Colorado's in the afternoon. Is the Cal game late? The Cal game at Arizona State, that has huge Pac-12 After Dark potential. Arizona, traditionally speaking, within the Pac-12, not a power by any stretch. They've been in at least one Pac-12 championship game. But traditionally speaking, as soon as you start having a good, promising season,
they pull one of those games off every year.
Tucson is weird, man.
Yeah.
Not that I think this Arizona team is that good at all. They struggle. They do. And that's okay. But Arizona loves just screwing shit up. That's what they do. And that's what would have me terrified if I were Washington. Not for anything, not if it's J.J. Taylor. What's his name? Trey Griffey. He's fine. He's good. I would not touch this game at all.
Yeah.
And I obviously, nobody loves Washington more than I.
No, 15-0.
15-0.
Yeah.
This would be number 4. So I'm super duper reluctantly going Washington.
Okay.
But man, do I feel reluctant about it.
All right. Also, you mentioned this game, a lot of after dark potential. Saturday, Cal at ASU. ASU, a 4-point favorite. I'm just going to ask this quickly because we got another game to discuss here.
Yeah.
Is Cal nearing secretly decent status?
Yeah, because the offense is potent enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Sure.
I agree. So I'm going to go
San
Cal
Diego
here.
State is a good team. ASU does not have the defense that San Diego State has. Cal is... We talked about this, I think, in our season preview, that we want every conference to have like a 2005 Texas Tech. That's just like, they're going to score 45 points. It's entirely possible you'll score 51, but they're going to spoil 2.5 team season. And that's Cal right now.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to go Cal here, plus the points.
As am I. I like Cal here.
And then finally, give me a 30-second rundown on Colorado, Oregon, and specifically your level of anxiety about this game.
My level of anxiety is not particularly high because that has all been smashed. my emotional.
Are you going to stay awake for this game?
Wasn't it like 3:30? It's an early kick, right?
Well, you're an old man.
That is true. I am an old man. That's a good nap window. I think Oregon wins this game. They get their act together enough. The offensive line is in a good place. I think Royce Freeman should be playing in this game. They can absorb an injury like Devin Allen's. Fortunately, maybe not emotionally, but physically, they have a deep receiving core. Defensively, their secondary is okay. I don't think Colorado will be able to stress Oregon's defense in a way that another team like Stanford or Washington will be able to. So I'm going to go with Oregon. At Autzen, still a tough place to play. Sefo Lufau is not 100%. I think they win this game by 13, 34-21.
All right. I'm going to go Colorado here.
Okay.
Who was your second America's team? You never said.
Oh, the USC Trojans. I like a scrappy underdog, you know?
Okay.
I think Friday night, going to altitude, new quarterback. I'd like to see USC do something.
So we have to agree on an America's team.
Oh, I'm totally with your choice for an America's team in USF.
All right, so USF
that was my
is
choice
the
initially,
official.
but I'm USF.
USF and USC.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Pick whether or not you like the SC or the SF, but you have two options there.
Real quick, Ty, if you could drop that throbbing, pulsating, just twisting, contorting, flickering.
Okay. Settle down now. This is week 4.
Drum and fife. Princeton, no stranger to the Pat League, traveling to Lehigh, and I've made my allegiances very clear with Princeton, with good friend Monty McNair of the Houston Rockets, and I played coach pitch baseball with him.
Okay.
Princeton here. I'm going to take the Tigers against Lehigh. I think Lehigh's a bunch of frauds.
I'm going Lehigh. My wife is a Lehigh grad. I'd be remiss if I did not select the Mountain Hawks here.
All right, go
Princeton
Engineers.
Tigers. Yeah.
Penn at Fordham. Ty, this is a matchup between sort of geographic loyalties between us. Fordham, New York's one true team. Penn, of course, in the greater Philadelphia area. Who do you like here?
I like Penn. I love the campus. I love what it offers as an educational institution, but we've had so much fun with Fordham here, and they still are the one true New York team.
One true team.
They have such deep roots here on the podcast. I got to go Fordham.
Go Rams. I'm all in on the Rams, and of course, our friend Buffalo Chicken.
Yeah.
Dartmouth at Holy Cross.
Yeah.
I'm going Dartmouth. We got an email about this, did we not?
Yeah, we did, actually.
But Dartmouth hasn't lost this matchup in 47 years.
Yeah.
Let's ride with the big mouth.
No. Holy Cross is actually pretty good. I believe
Crusaders?
I believe they are in the others receiving votes category. I did look up. This is how you know it's getting serious.
Yeah.
I looked up FCS rankings after the North Dakota State win to see that they were actually ranked first in that level of college football. The Crusaders are sort of, in the hunt. So give me Holy Cross here.
All right, Columbia at Georgetown. Multi-sport field.
Yep.
Hosting Columbia.
Give me Georgetown.
This is a huge Ivy Pat League week.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Separation
Saturday.
Yeah, multi-sport field. VMI, Virginia's military. Did you know Virginia had their own military?
Yeah.
VMI at Bucknell, the Nellies. You do hold a grudge.
Yeah.
You going VMI here? You going with the armed forces of the Commonwealth of Virginia?
I'm kind of on a Bucknell kick lately.
Okay. Nellies.
Yeah, I've been pro Bison on this show for, the last, 3 to 4 weeks now. So, yeah, give me the Nellies. Why not?
All right, the Gators of Colgate, ranked, traveling to Spiders of Richmond, ranked number 2 overall in FCS.
You think we could be talking upset here?
Wow. Richmond did lose last week, I think, to Stony Brook.
Yeah. Is that a real thing? Did you look that up?
I heard it on the radio. I think that is a real thing.
Oh, you heard it on the radio?
I heard it on the radio.
Did they have that on Spotify?
I'm gonna verify this.
Hot Richmond coverage on Spotify?
I am gonna go. Well, I think it was in reference to the fact that Virginia lost to Richmond and then Richmond lost to Stony Brook and how sad that is.
Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Gators as well here.
Yeah, I'm going Gators.
I have to ride.
Going Gators here, yeah.
Next and final Pat League matchup, Villanova, local team. This is a huge Rubenstein-Hildenbrand matchup as well. Villanova, number 18 in the FCS. Of course, the Philadelphia Lafayette. Of course, my loyalties lie with the Leopards. Leopard up. Lafayette, of course, is going to win this per my thought.
Give me Villanova. Villa Supernova, Dan.
Wow.
Yeah. See what I did there?
Yeah. Also, shout out to Bowdoin College, Ty. The Polar Bears taking on Trinity College of Connecticut. Do you know why I'm shouting them out?
I have zero idea.
I heard from Monty McNair's little brother, who was a kicker for the Bowdoin Polar Bears.
Okay.
Lock up Bowdoin against Trinity for me, please, Ty.
Lock of the week.
Is that who are you locking up an FBS team this week?
I'm also going to lock up. I'm going to lock up Michigan State against Wisconsin.
Lock of the week.
All right. We got a big Monty McNair thing going on here.
Big Monty McNair thing. bunch of thank yous to those of us who support the show, those of you who support the show. I'm drunk on tea right now.
Yeah.
These are people that are retweeting, are sharing it on Facebook, are commenting, reviewing, and rating us on iTunes, doing a fantastic job spreading the word. That'd be John Christopher, Matt Lewis, Amanda Krieger, I think it's Krieger or Kruger, Andy Sly, Rich Francis, Zach Ferguson, Christopher Schleiman, Dave Alberts, plural, Matt Pergo, Chris Vernarski, Trevor King, Ken Greeley, Sue Stanley, a very solid name, Sue Stanley, Michael Sammartino, Demetrius Manos, and of course, Ty, we ride.
We ride.
Oh, we ride. With Brandon McKissick.
We ride with Brandon McKissick, but also with Chris Bentavegna and our boy Dane Mitro.
Oh, absolutely. Love Dane Mitro. And there's no way anybody possibly could be still listening to this show.
No.
There is no way. And there is only one way to prove to us that you are still listening to to this show.
Yeah.
If you are still listening at this moment in time.
Yes.
We request that you tweet at Aaron Taylor.
Aaron Taylor, yeah. Former Notre Damer.
Offensive lineman?
Offensive lineman. Very good offensive lineman. Drafted by the Packers, I believe.
Is a terrific part of college football media. Tweet at Aaron Taylor without any evidence that we are sending you. So no hashtagging, no tagging of any kind, no indication that you have been sent by the Solid Verbal in your tweet. And tweet at Aaron Taylor just as you imagine it is spelled, AARON TAYLOR CFB, as in college football. Aaron Taylor CFB. And this is what I need you to ask him. Ask him about smells. And what the appropriate scent should be, both on your person and for the room. So candles. What's the appropriate scent for if you want to light candles for company coming over for a dinner party?
Like,
is vanilla too strong?
So if I were to ask him, with it being the fall season, is a pumpkin candle too much if I'm expecting guests?
It's too obvious, Ty.
Okay.
Ask him about candles. You know, maybe we just go with candles. Like, is it necessary to set the mood with candles, or is it overwhelming and trying too hard?
Okay.
What candle do you recommend for a restroom in case somebody pollutes it?
Yeah, that's actually a very important life question, I'd say.
Yeah, how often should we be? Are candlesticks a good present?
Yeah. Joel Klatt seems to think so, by the way.
I do think he thinks candlesticks are good. But let's go deeper in on the candles. Aaron Taylor, CFB, and ask him about the smells that he prefers in his daily life as it relates to candles and other scents around the household.
All right. I strongly approve of this. By the way, the whole Joel Klatt thing went over tremendously well.
You guys did great.
Tremendously well.
Yeah.
And there is a radio clip to prove it.
Yeah, somebody told him, and listen, we love everybody that listens to the show, but my God, we're asking you not to tell him, and somebody had him on the show to tell him.
You have 1.5 jobs, people.
Yes, come on.
Job numero uno is to carry out this little Easter egg of ours.
Yes.
Job numero 1/2, however you say that, is to not tell him that we sent you.
Can I ask you one more thing before
Please.
we finally let these people escape from the free tentacles of podcasting?
This vortex of podcasting, yes.
You have a very, very, very strong recommendation for people that are having trouble sleeping.
Oh my God, you've changed my life, Dan. I am shot. For people wondering, if you go back and listen to the Sunday show, and then kind of like contrast it with what's going on here this evening.
Yeah.
I'm like a different guy here altogether.
And this is totally not a sponsored statement that you're making.
No,
this is totally free.
I found this completely by accident because, as you know, did you update your phone yet? Did you get the new iOS?
No, not yet. I'm waiting for all the bugs to be worked out.
All right, and there are bugs.
Okay,
but I did the update so I could get like the messaging stickers and whatever else, whatever kind of stuff they're going for nowadays.
Yeah.
And they added a whole bunch in the health section. I'm not big on using my phone as like a health device, but I was clicking around on Sunday night trying to figure out where the world's going with this whole health thing. And
where the world's going with this whole health
That's
thing.
right. It's a scientific discussion.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have that on our next show maybe. I don't know. But they've got a whole section in there now in the Health Kit app.
You seen this water thing, Dan?
Yeah, it's like a
you
trend.
Seeing people drinking
4
this
glasses
clear
of
liquid?
water a day. But they're doing a lot around sleep and tracking your sleep. And I've never really had a good sense for how your phone can track the sleep. But they make apps now that can help you fall asleep. And as you know, sleep is not like, I have a Madden ranking of 22 when it comes to sleeping abilities.
Right.
Which is not my strongest attribute. But I found one app called Sleep Well, which apparently uses some sort of highfalutin hypnosis to put you to sleep.
And it's worked for you.
Oh, my God. I was knocked the F out the last 2 nights after this. And then you told me about, what is this, Pziz?
Pziz, yeah.
Pzizz? Mm-hmm. Which I was dead to rights after coming home from the mysterious day job.
Uh-huh.
And you said that there's a power nap function on it.
Yep.
So I figured, I got home at like 4:20. We decided we were going to record at 5. I was dead. I figured, I'm going to throw it on there. It's about a 20-minute interval. I was knocked out for a solid like 12 and a half minutes. I woke up, I had a coffee, and now I'm like ready to go for another 15 hours.
It's a little creepy at first because it's like a very gentle but bold voice instructing you what to do.
Is it? I think it's a British guy too, right?
It might be, and I think there might be different voices. I don't know exactly how it works, but it's really good for napping. It's excellent for sleeping at night if you have trouble sleeping because it is soothing in its own unique way, and they also will wake you up. The power nap thing is like, all right, you are now gently waking up. And you are feeling sensations, and everything is wonderful.
I'm told we have that effect on small children. That's what Stephen Godfrey said. But
great, I'd take that responsibility. With passion. But Pziz is for either power napping, regular napping, or overnight. Man, that'll get you. That'll do the trick.
Not a sponsor of the show, but we could definitely find a way to work Pziz or Sleep Well into like a Big Ten game at some point.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Iowa, like Purdue, Pziz game of the week. I'm feeling it.
Yeah, your nooner Pzizer.
All right. Well, fun show here tonight. Yeah. Thank you for your recommendation, Dan. You saved my life here.
I'm glad to hear it.
You've really saved my life. For those wondering, for those emailing, T-shirts are officially going into the system this week. We will provide an update if you ordered one when those are going to be sent out from our good friends over at Threadbird.
Yep.
Also, it's been long awaited, but we are going to provide our donation to the Michael Mosier Foundation to fight DIPG.
Yep.
Remember a few T-shirt sales ago, we said 100% of those profits are going to go to help fight that horrible disease. We've dragged our feet a little bit, but at long last, we're going to provide an update on that, and we're going to send out the check, and we're really excited about it. So I'm going to draft the letter out this week that's going to be sent along with our donation. I will post that online on the newsletter and on the Twitter account and a bunch of other spots for those who are interested. We thank you so much for helping to donate your hard-earned dollars to help fight this horrible disease. So we'll provide an update on that front very shortly, Dan.
Yes, sir.
All right. Enjoy your weekend.
Hey, you too, Ty.
For that guy over there, Dan Rubenstein, and beautiful and sunny in fall and springy New York City. For myself, Ty Hildenbrand, here in the good old Lehigh Valley in good old Allentown. Thanks again for tuning into the show. Give us a call at 408-VERBAL-1. Subscribe at iTunes.com/solidverbal and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Enjoy your week, enjoy your weekend, and by all means, stay solid.
Peace.